Good morning, children. Hope you are learning well. Today I am going to start a new poem for you, Paper Boat. Paper Boat, this is your today's topic, and with the title, you can see you could easily imagine that this poem would be all about paper boats, and I think you might have made a paper boat with a newspaper or sometimes with your notebook paper. Many students make paper boats, and these paper boats then they float in the water. And then sometimes during the rainy season they float in the drains, and then they reach. And if you live nearby a stream is small water body that many streams combine to make a river. So this poem is all about the paper boat that the poet makes, and then he flows in the stream. So let's find out what is there in the poem. Day by day I float my paper boat, one by one down the running stream. In big black letters I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live. The poet is saying that he makes paper boats day by day, means one day, then the next day, then the next day. He makes a boat daily, and then what he does, and he float them on the running stream. As I told you, streams, they are the water bodies that in which the water flows, and then these streams they lead to the river. They makes a river. So the poet makes paper boats and then float in the stream, and in a big black letter I write my name on them. The poet is saying that he writes his name in big black letters and the name of the village where I live. The poet is saying that he's not only writing the name of the his own name, but also he writes the village name where he lives. As you know that these streams, these rivers, they pass through a number of villages, means one village, then next village, then next village, they pass through, and they are flowing, they flow through. So the writer is saying that I am writing this name, my own name, and the village name. And what else he thinks? He thinks, I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. The writer writes his name and his village name because he thinks that when my paper boat is flowing, then it will reach to some other village, and how far away it goes, and somebody will get my boat, then he would know my name and my village name. So the writer hopes that it will go and then someone will catch it, and then he will learn my name and my village name. So in this way, this is what the imagination of the poet while floating this paper boat in the stream. Further, the poet says, I load my little boat with I load my paper boat with swilly flowers from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to the land in the night. Then he not only floats the paper boat, but in the paper boat he put some flowers, swilly flowers. Swilly is the name of the flower. He he load this paper boat with small flowers, and he hopes that these flowers will be carried out by this paper boat to some land in the night, because he's flowing in the day and he hopes that it will remain there till the night, and till the somebody catch it. It will take the blooms also means the flowers, and the dawn, blooms of the dawn means you see, dawn means morning. DAW and dawn, it also means morning. So he says that these flowers that are blooming here in the morning, they will reach to some strange land safely by my paperboard. Here you can see in the picture, this poet is trying to float this paperboat, and is loading this paperboat with some flowers also. And so in this way, you see, the poet does what? The poet makes a paper boat, and then the poet load it with some flowers and send it to some unknown place. In the next line, the poet says, I launch my paper boat and look up into the sky. When he launches, he left the paper boat into the stream, and he looks up into the sky and see the little clouds setting the white bulging sails. And after leaving this paper boat, now the poet sees towards the sky, and in the sky the poet sees the clouds. And you also know that clouds are also sailing, they also move, they also float in the sky. So, what he says, I know not what playmate of mine in the sky sends them down the air to race with my boats. Then the poet thinks, then the poet says, I don't know which friend, playmate means friend, which friend of mine in the sky. He thinks that there in the sky there might be a friend of him who is sending these clouds. Just as the poet is sending the paper boat, in the same way he thinks that there is someone in the sky who is sending these clouds to race with my boats. He says that my boat is also floating, and these clouds are also floating. So he says that I am floating my paper boats, and someone in the sky is sending these clouds who are floating, and they are making a race with my boats. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dreams that my paper boats float on and on under the midnight stars. Then, when night comes, in the next line, the poet said, when night comes, when it's the night time, because when night comes, the poet was sending these paper boats in the morning with the flowers. Now now the poets imagine, when the night comes, when it is night, I bury my face in my arms. I bury my face in my arms means I will hide my face with my arms. I will hide my face with my arms and dream, and then I will start dreaming that my paper boats float on the land, on and under the midnight stars. Now the poet imagines something different. Earlier he was thinking that my paperboat will sail through these stream, but now his imagination goes in the sky. Now he thinking that his paperboat is sailing in the sky, so as the clouds sail in the sky. Now the fairies of sleep are sailing in them. Now the poet is thinking that and not only this, but his in his paper boat, fairies of the sky, they are sitting and they are sailing in the sky on his paper boat. And the ladings their baskets full of dreams. And he says that his basket that the baskets that are there with the fairies, they are full of the dreams. So this is what the very fantastic poem, it shows the imagination of the poet, how the poet's imagination differ from one place to another place. Once he was floating that in the stream, and he was thinking that somebody in the some other place will get it, but then he looks at the sky and he found that the clouds are sailing. And finally he thinks that in the night he will dream, and he dreams what? He dreams that his boat is now sailing in the sky, and the fairies are sailing in that. So this is what the very wonderful imaginative poem by Rabindranath Tagore, and every one of us know about this writer, this poet, Rabindranath Tagore. He is one of the uh, most famous poets in our country. Rabindranath Tagore, you know that he is also known as Gurudev. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And for your kind information, he was originally a Bengali writer. He was originally a Bengali poet. He wrote most of the poetry in Bengali language. And he was also a Nobel Prize winner. Nobel Prize, you know, the world's most renowned prize for literature, that is the Nobel Prize. And he was the Nobel Prize winner. And he got the Nobel Prize for which book? Everybody of us knows. He got it for Gitanjali. Gitanjali is also a book of poems. It is a collection of poems, Gitanjali. So this is the poet of this poem, Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, Nobel Literature, Nobel Prize winner. And this is the very fantastic poem, uh, Paper Boat, in which the poet imagines differently about his paper boat. And I hope that you all might have enjoyed making paper boats. So if you wish, you can make a paper boat and you can float it on the drains, in the water, and you can imagine about all the things. And now this is the fantastic poem that this you will you can write in your notebook and you can memorize it. Thank you.